Let's see. Okay, it says going live. You are live. So I had some issues, as you recall. I had some problems with my stream key. Then I was on 4K, and then now I'm back to 1080p. So I think we're good. Let me know. Lurking while working. Yeah. So let me know in the chat if it's good now. So anyways, I will start again. So I didn't do a live stream in a while, just because it's always a bit of a setup and you need to prepare and all that. And so I just thought it's a good opportunity. Everyone needs to stay at home, self-isolation and staying healthy. And even now is a good time because it's actually a holiday. At least here it is. I think it's everywhere. Because it's Easter, and I want to wish you all a happy Easter, and I hope you got some nice chocolates. If not, maybe you should get some. I don't know. Anyways, so today's idea is I will be starting a little asset from modeling to texture. We do that in Substance Painter, and then we bring it back to Maya and just render that using ACES. And the motivation is that on my Discord server, I started a team challenge where everyone who wants can join to model and texture assets. And I picked one asset in that challenge, and I'm just doing this right now. And if you want to join that challenge, we have a few items left, not the most exciting ones, but it needs to be done. Feel free to head over to the Discord channel and join it. Actually, let me share that link quickly. Oops, not this. Open up Discord. 1 second. Going to this and invite people. Let me just do this with the proper link I had before. Invites. And I think we will just copy this. Oh, I just created a new one. Sorry, it's a bit of a hassle always to do things. Invite people and edit invite link. Expire never. Okay, I think I got it. So I'm just pasting this here. So let me know if this works. Also, my Discord guys, they can actually chat in Discord directly, and it should show in the feed as well. I think it does. And yeah, so I hope you like the setup. I hope the screen resolution is good enough. Let me know if that is good. If not, I will need to make it a bit larger. I can also move a few things over, so we have a bit more screen estate here. And so let's do this there. Sorry, now you're part of my setup. I hope it's not a big problem. And doing the Maya window. All right, I think we're good. I hope the stream is fine. I'm not sure why the Discord chat doesn't show, but anyways, okay, I think it's time to get going. This is actually the reference I'm working with. So you can see it's a photograph from Anatoly Che, a super talented photographer, and I think I have his link somewhere up as well. Let me just click here in OBS to have the right things open. Let's see, browser, and hide the reference. So this is his 500px website, his pictures, and at the bottom he has all these nice still life shots, and I just picked one for the challenge, and we are working with that. So it's a very talented artist, and I hope he's fine that we are dissecting his images and recreating them in 3D. All right. And I will be focusing on this little, or on the big glass bottle actually. So I think it's time to get started. Let's just bring up the Maya window. And then we are good. So Maya is active. I'm just reading through the chat quickly. Screen says good. Italy. Can you explain what ACES is? We will go to ACES once we start the rendering side. And yeah, okay. I think let's do it. So I will bring in the reference into Maya. And just as a heads up, I am not a modeler. I'm pretty sure I'm doing not everything as it's supposed to be. I'm just loading in the reference image fairly quick, doing it off screen, and then we just go from there. So let's see. This is the reference. So this is now my image pane. Right now in perspective, we want to go to the front, and let's just do this in here. Actually, I need to go back to the perspective, go back to the front. And this will be a longer stream just because I'm actually doing everything from scratch, and I will not be editing it, right? So there will not be any speed ups or skips or whatnot. So this stream in the end will be uploaded fully on my channel, so you can follow along later if you need to. If you don't have time now, it's all up to you. So this image now is not an ACES image. It is actually a utility sRGB image. So we go all the way down to look for it, and now we should have the right color space like that. And this is now, at least this is the process I always used to do. What I want to do now, I just want to move it up so it's actually in the origin. Glass is the most annoying rendering, the most. Yeah, all right. So let's just, I think I can somewhere move it. Is it just like this? Yeah, all right. So I just want to place it. So this is my center line, my origin of the scene. I just want to roughly place it in the middle of my objects. All right, which is now, I think this is fairly cool. And I'll be just, I'll be just starting with a cylinder, fairly easy. Actually, let's try if this is better. I actually use a Wacom as well, so let's see if this is any better. Maybe it's not so loud when I click. All right, so let's just move this guy up. We don't have this option anymore. And what I always like to do first is just delete the top and bottoms. Let's just do this like that. Get rid of these guys. So now we just have a super simple cylinder, and unhide like that. All right. I'm not sure if we need all the component, all the detail, but I think we just leave it. So what I do now, I just scale it up, and I roughly place it where I need it to be. Always scale uniformly. Go F9 for editing mode, and then you just scale those things up until you're satisfied. And this is now the process. So obviously, yeah, I don't need to explain all these steps now because I think most of you just know how to do these kind of things, at least know it even better than I do. Let's just do ghosting so we can actually see what we do. And then I'm just scaling it down. Clicking shift, drag, opens up this quick extrude mode like that. And it's important to actually follow the reference fairly good. Obviously this image here is distorted. Could be your mic volume is a bit lowish today. Normally I don't want to scream on the mic. I can maybe boost the 1 sec. I went to the amp now and pushed the gain. I hope it's not distorting now, but let me know if this is better. And yeah, so let's just keep going and moving those edges. So we go down a bit more. And then we go down and we start this little bend here at the bottom. Okay, well, I adjusted it. I hope it's not too loud now. Okay, so let's see. So there's a little softer loop here, so we need to do that as well. So let's just move this guy a bit higher. Then we do this, extrude it out slightly, and then we do another one like that. Then we go up, and then we go another little bit up like this. So this would be the base shape of it, of the glass. I don't want this loop here right now, so you can just do delete component, or delete edge. I think that gets rid of the vertices as well. So this would be now my rough shape. Obviously, if I hit 3 to smoothen it, we need to add more edge loops, and I will be doing this right now. Always make sure you scale it uniformly, otherwise you have a skew bottle. So you can either do connect components, which I like to do quite often, which just adds me a loop, or you can do like insert edge loop as well. So I'm just focusing on the left side now, double clicking the edge to select the loop. And then I'm just doing another insert connect components, scaling it up so it's nice to the shape of the bottle. And let's do it again with the components, hitting G to repeat your last action. It's a nice fast way to just model if you just hit G all the time. I think we need another edge loop here just to get a better read on this shape. Let's see what the comments say. Better, it's not on parapet. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know that the substance painter steps are more important, but I just wanted to show you like an A to Z thing. And obviously, if it's late for you, I heard some people are in India watching right now, and for you guys, I guess it's super late or it's super early in the morning. As I said, all these things will be uploaded, so you can watch it tomorrow or whenever you have the time to do so. I just thought I'm at home, I have time, and I just thought, why not do it? So everyone has something to see. Maybe someone needs some modeling help. Maybe this helps. I don't know. All right, so I think the top shape here is pretty spot on. We need to get some more detail in the top here. So what I can do, I just right click and bevel the edge to give you more detail. I can change the distance here with the fraction. Control drag makes a finer refinement stage. And then we want to definitely bevel these two guys. And we want to maybe add some more segments to get a nice crisp edge on the top here. Yeah. Okay. 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is fine. I don't think everyone has 2 p.m. now, but okay, I still think this loop here, we need some more edges, so I'll be just using the insert edge loop tool here and just to add another loop. That's better. And even this can be a bit scaled up just to get some subtle roundness here, so it's not super straight, because honestly, I'm not sure if you have had the chance, but if you work with glass, or if you actually look at glass, it's not perfect. It's not. It seems like the selling point is always, oh, it's a perfect glass. But if you look at it closely, there's always bends and deformations. Even like this little IKEA glass is not perfect. All right, let's just focus on the bottom here. So we are at this stage. Let's just, now we need to go at the bottom actually. So I'm just dragging the perspective camera. And I'm just hitting R for my scale tool, shift and middle mouse drag, shift and just like that. We get the bottom edge loop, extruded inwards. And now I'm freeballing here because I don't know how it looks from the bottom, but I guess there is some kind of little lip, which we'll add a little bit later. And then we just scale it down even further. We go up. And then I think from the inside, there's like a little curve there. I don't want to have the, okay. I'm not sure the Discord chat. 1 second. The Discord thing is not really showing. 1 second to show. Oh, it does only show my stuff. Interesting. 1 second. Yeah, I need to see what's happening. Oh no, it does work. It might just be a bit slow, I guess. Anyways, sorry for that. We just continue now. Back to the base here. So we moved it up, and I think that it makes like this little bend towards the top. And also, this is a record, by the way. We have 104 people watching, and I think my most I had so far was like 75 or something. So this is for me like a big milestone, and I want to thank you everyone for tuning in for sure. As this is, it's almost like if you could fill a whole classroom or like a seminar room with 104 people. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So now let's just hide the image plane, and let's just do like another extrude towards the bottom, and then we right click and say fill the hole, and then we just do some quick connections here, connect components, and then we use a multi-cut tool from this dot to this, hit enter, and then I messed up with my initial things here, but we can maybe just do this and this, and then we do this and this and this and this, and I think we have quads. Yeah, this should be good. I think you can also do like a selection if you don't select any other points, and you can right click and do circleize, and now we have round vertices, which is great. And I think we can scale it up a bit, something like that. Cool stuff. All right, so at the bottom this looks like this, and then we want to obviously add some more edge loops because I think this guy needs to be sharper, so needs this guy. So shift right click, bevel edges, fraction like this. Okay, I think this is good. Let's see, I'm just checking a chat all the time so you can see my head going over. So for this I will be, I'm not really texturing a lot, but I will be using Substance Painter today. I worked with Mari before and a few other softwares, but I will be working with Painter today. And there was a question in the chat just now, why I didn't merge the edges at the bottom instead of doing like this little thing and what I just did. And the reason is if you merge them and you have like an n-gon and you have lots of faces connecting together, then you get some weird smoothing issues. I'm not sure if we need to do this step here, but I just thought I'll do it. It adds some nice detail when you refract it. So now we have a harder bottom piece here, like a thing there. Let's just go back out. Sorry, let's just unisolate, and let's go back to my front camera. And also there's so many questions I cannot answer all at once. So if you have the answer to one of those questions, feel free to be active in the chat and also just collaborate. It would help me at least a bit. All right, so let's see. I think this is all good. So now we will be working on the inside, and I just don't want to push it in. I want to just extrude it, and I want to make it super thin, because if it's thin, you get some nice detail. Great technique. Your outliner makes me uneasy. Yeah, sorry. Let's just do this. Oh, it's so much better. I know. I sometimes have to do that because not all the nodes are displayed in the outliner. All right, so I don't think we need the reference anymore, at least not for now. And I will be I think I can just Control H it to hide it, go into perspective. And now we need to do this inside part. And for this, I will open up my other thing here. Why is there no perspective now? Split. What do we want to do? Split top. Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, now we have a lot of panels. Sorry, we need to figure this out. Oh no, it's totally messed up. Dang it. Layout, side by side. Stacked. That's what I want. All right, so now we have my perspective and another perspective, but this one I can actually change to be my front view, which helps me to actually see what I'm doing. So, okay, saving, I do this on ghost mode so I can see the inside, and this will be my working view. Let's move this over like this. All right, I do hit Control S all the time. You know, working with Maya, you have your things happening. Great topic. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so let's just scale this. So there's some kind of thickness. The thing is, if you like, especially old bottles, if you drink from them, the inside is most of the time super round. Like if you imagine Coke bottles, the top is not so sharp that you can cut your face with it. So that's why it's super soft here as well. And I will be just extruding one more time to do this softer lip here, and then I'm just going down. Let's go down. So the top part is thick, and we are a bit too thick. So what I will be doing now is I'm just hitting Shift and bigger than sign, which grows my selection. And then I will be just scaling it, this time just on the Z and X axis, like this. I just want to make it overall a bit thinner. Like I'm looking at the side here, which is a bit thick still. So what we can do then, we can just do an edge loop here and go even bigger. Oops, like some, I think this might work. And then we just need to scale these guys back out. Yeah, I think this is good. All right, you can see like I'm paying a lot of time just to get the model right, because the model is essential to make a realistic image. And yeah, so it takes a bit of time, and I hope I don't bore you with this. But the good thing is you have lots of people in the chat to talk with. So also, again, if you don't know about it, I can actually pin it. We have a Discord server where you can be very active and do lots of ask lots of questions and whatnot. And we almost have 1,000 people over there. It's pretty impressive. I just shared the Discord channel again, so would be amazing if you can join if you are not on there yet. Yeah. Okay, let's just go back to 1. And now I don't want to extrude it right on this. Actually, I do want to do that, because if I smooth it, it will smooth the same way on the inside and on the outside. So I'm just kind of mimicking this exactly, moving it back down and scaling it just to get the same thickness everywhere. And you can actually be a bit loose with the matching of the thickness, because the bottle itself can be occasionally thicker and thinner at certain areas, which will give, and I will actually model that in here as well, just to give some kind of breakup, which will help sell the look. And this is also true to any glass surface. They are not perfectly round. Sorry, perfectly, they don't have the perfect thickness. All right. So I might need to revisit them after rendering, after seeing a glass shader on them, because they might be a bit too thick still. Just moving them down further. And for the bottom here, I will not follow exactly the shape here, because I think the bottom here, especially the lower corner, is a bit thicker. So I'll just be doing that as well. Moving it down. You can see now the bottom here gets a bit thicker, and then moving it down, scaling it. And then we do another extrude, and then we go up like this, and then we do another one, and then we finish it up. So what we need to do now is fly in here and pretty much do the same thing I did just before. So we do right click, fill the hole, and we connect. Which pieces did we connect? These ones. So 112 viewers, amazing. It's really still growing. So maybe invite more people. Why not? Make it even larger, would be great. If you have friends, share this link, maybe. Would be cool. So connecting, multi-cutting, all the basics here, but it's, I think, worth it, at least to freshen up on those. And this and that, and this and that. And we can do the same nice trick here. So we can just do, yes, we can do, actually, if I hit tab, I can paint my selection, and it respects only the top. It shouldn't select the bottom. And then right click, circleize, and we can radial offset it to have something like this. All right, saving this. And I think this is now the base shape of the bottle. I think it's fairly good. There seems to be some kind of hard edge here. So let's just actually assign a standard surface shader, and let's do some thing like this. So I do that just to see how my edges are behaving, and you can see there is some kind of weird thing here. And this just might be that I have one too many edge loops there. Uh-oh, what's happening? Something did update or uninstall. Isn't the bottom of the glass solid? I'm not sure what that question is. Hey Pontus, yeah, I'm trying something. You can see that. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to go back to the side view here and just see if we actually need to have this one edge loop here, which makes it a bit harder. I think this is the bad guy. Maybe we just need to scale it out a bit just to get the nicer roundness here. Yeah, this might be better. I'm just looking at the ping, how it's traveling on the surface, and I think now it's pretty even. And then what I was saying about breaking it up. So now I'm just going in here and just roughly just scaling them, the inside edge. Obviously it should not poke through, but we can go fairly close to just add some variation in the thickness. And what you can also do, you can just select single points, and I think I need to do that from the inside. Let's say just select this guy and just now break symmetry, just move it. I just slightly moved it, and slightly will move this and this. This will give you, especially for glass objects, if you have refraction and you have a thicker part, the ray is bent a bit further than it normally would be, and then you get some nice edge breakups or refraction breakups. And yeah, I just keep pushing some of these. Obviously you can do that with a bump map as well, but yeah. All right, so we have this. So I think we just need to model the liquid and model the cork. The cork is fairly basic. I will not spend too much time on this, but I will just create another cylinder and I will move it up like this. And I'll just scale it down until it matches. I'm just matching the left side here, like that. And then we hide this image plane, and we do. So I'm just reading the comments quickly. You have to use soften edges to fix faces. I'm not sure. It feels good. Okay, anyways, why is this not in the center? Because I think I moved it. Why did I move it? I didn't move it. I moved this. Oh, I moved this. There we go. Right, so let's do this fairly quick. I always want to do that. I don't know, it's just a habit of mine. I don't like these, these pointy, whatever it's called, n-gons. Don't like them, never did. All right, so let's scale this bottom piece down so it actually fits in here. And actually we need to bring back our image to adjust the height. Obviously the camera is a bit going upwards, I think, so we need to make it a little bit lower than it is. And then we just extrude it like this one more time. That's enough for this. And then we do an isolate and do the same for the bottom here. I'm sure there's a way faster way to do this little prop, but yeah, you know, I'm not modeling that often anymore, or nowadays. I had to do it a while back to get to land a job, to be more like a generalist, but luckily nowadays I can just focus on look dev and lighting, which makes me happy. I don't care now about the rest because we will not see it from the top, so this is more than enough. Let's just go and insert some edge loops here. One needs to be here, and then yes, we don't want to do one there. And then all we need to do is there two edges here? No, just move it down, scale it inside, just to get some kind of softer top here. Okay, I think that's it for the cork. We don't need to pay much attention. But now comes the interesting part, which is the liquid. In ACES, do I have to edit the color picking parameter utility as a texture like in a 1.1? It's up to you what you want to do there. I think the default is output sRGB. If you want to use that as a picking role, you just need to be aware what is in your settings, right? So I think I have it on utility sRGB for my picking role, but it's definitely a personal preference what you want to do there. So let's just select the faces for my insides here. Two faces, come on. And then we just do grow selection, and then I'm not sure how much we need. It's not much. Okay, so we are actually too high, but I can just move it down. And what I do, right click, I will do extract. I will do duplicate faces. And this should have duplicated or created me a new geometry. It did, perfect. So now if I hide my liquid, I just need to first, before we do this, I just want to insert another edge loop here, which is my height of the liquid pretty much. Let's just do this again. Insert edge loop. Let's just do this, and then we just do this and delete it. So this is now my liquid, and we need to obviously at some point reverse the normals because they are inside out now, and we can actually do it now. I think it's in the mesh menu. I always mix these things up. It's not, or I'm blind, maybe it was there. Oh, it's in display, I guess. And then we just reverse it. So now it's correct. And then we want to do some cool things with the liquid. We want to, obviously the liquid, because there's surface tension, the surfaces of the glass attract the mesh. 130 viewers, by the way. Woohoo! I like that. So we get some kind of, surface tension. I'm not sure. I'm not a physician. No, I think that's not the right word. I don't work in science. That's what I meant to say. But we need kind of this effect, which is like a really nice surface tension, like the liquids just go up to the sides. And then we just, because it always levels out, we just do an extrusion to just go to the center. And we just do one more time. We do again the same deal, fill the hole. and we do the connect of components. So you can also just do multi-cuts, and then we do the multi-cut here and here, enter, here and here, enter, here and here, here and here, and here and here. And then we do the same deal. We hit tab to paint. We paint those vertices. We do a right click, circleize, and radial offset, something like this. We can hit Alt Shift D to clear my history. And now you can see if I smoothen this, we get this little edge there. And what we want to do is add an edge loop here to get a nice crisp edge like this. So now comes a thing which you need to pay attention to is for rendering glass, you want the liquid to be a tiny bit larger than the walls of the surface. So I'll just be scaling it up a bit. Fluid sim, Houdini sim. Ugh, simulation. It's not the best thing to do sims on a live stream because you just have to wait a long time. All right, so you can see now it is actually a tiny bit larger already, which is perfect. So you can see this here is the inside, and then the liquid is a bit larger, but it's at the bottom, it's right on. So what we need to do, hit F9 to get my vertex selection, and we just need to move these guys a slight amount downwards like this. So now it's going over all these objects. So this is perfect. So now my liquid is a little bit larger than my glass body. This will help in rendering. And I think now comes the shitty part, which is UVing it, because we need UVs because we want to add these nice drips. And if I bring back the reference image, you can see that there is these drips and all the stuff on the liquids there. So on the glass, I mean, so we need to have nice UV. So I will be doing that now, and I hope you can give me some feedback on UVing because I'm a really noob of doing that. All right, so saving, and let's do the UVs, UV toolkit and my UV editor at the top, and then let's just do Alt Shift D to clear the history. This is the cork. I'm just naming them fairly quick. Cork, Shift P to unparent, and this would be bottle, and this would be liquid. Save. All right, so, and we can delete this. Right now, we don't care about the cork, we don't care about the liquid, just the ball. So right now, really messy stuff here. So what my first thing I do is, like, if I, depending on the object, this is now a cylinder object, I'll just assign a quick cylindrical thing here. So this is the cylindrical one. But then what I want to do, I just want to do some seams, right? I want to cut it somewhere because we need to unfold it so we have nice non-distorted UVs, and we need to do it from the inside and for the outside. So what I want to do, I use the cut tool. I just select my edge loops. I don't want this in the viewport. So you can see this is an automatic seam here. If you click auto seams, it's a nice idea, but it never does really work. So what I want to do, I want to cut it. So one is here, so I can do cut. I'm not sure if this is now an issue here. It might be. What if I do stitch? Okay, no seams, that's what I want. So I want this to be a seam, so I cut it. Then I'll go all the way up, and I want to cut it here. Let's just cut it at the top, cut it here. And then we need to do the same for the inside as well, but we can deal with this a bit later. So, and then we just need to find a nice location where we want to cut it down, but I just do this, select this guy, shift double click it up till here, which adds this selection, and then I can just cut this as well. And if everything that is correct, if I hit unfold now, we should at least see something. Yeah, we do see something. So we see the outside is already unwrapped. You can see we just need to align it better, but I think this is what I want to do, and I hope this is the way to do it. So this is the outside, then we have the bottom part, and do to UV shell. And then we just need to do the same thing for the inside. So we have the cut already. We just need to do the same. I guess we just do here, cut it. And then we just need to do the same edge, just this one. And then we go all the way down to here, hit G to cut it. And now we can just do unfold again. And now, here's something weird. I'm not sure why this piece is not working. Let's just do a top down. I think you can, what is it? Project middle mouse, project y-axis. Let's do this. All right. And we can do the same with the bottom part as well. We don't need to really unfold it. So just tabbing, selecting. Like that. And we just grow it. Like that. And then we just do a middle click on the planar. And now I think this is it. Let's check what the comments say. Yeah, I think that's what I did at some point. Just clear out all the seams and just create them myself. Okay, so let's just do, I think, so now comes the question what to do. I think you can just do layout. And it does this for you. And then we need to do some magic on these guys. So what if we optimize, and we can also straighten them. I think I need to select an edge though. No, that's not what I want. Let's try this. Okay, no. You can see now this is where my skill leaves me. I don't know how to do this now better. So I just did this actually, and I just used optimize it, and then this is what I had. And I want to have a bit more detail. So what I want to do, I will move these two pieces to one tile. Sorry, the inside and the outside to one tile. So I'll move this here, and then these two guys can just be in its own tile. So I think this is the way to lay out it. Yeah, so and we do the same here, layout it. We can just layout it and move it over. I'm not sure if you can just move it over the same. So let's just do this. And where is it? Layout. Like that. And we just, the thing is now the scale is totally off, which sucks. And just move it up. So I think we just need to do it, like at least scale it manually. We don't need to have it perfect, I guess. So let's just bring this view and just see the scale. So these are a bit bigger. So let's just move them, just scale them down or up. So I'm just looking now at the checkerboard sizes so that they are roughly the same. And the inside one is also a bit too large. So let's just do this. So there was one comment that I need to freeze my transforms, which I think I did not do, which I will do now. And then maybe it will be better. So let's try select, modify, freeze transformations. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's try. To UV shell, UV toolkit, and do an unfold. Yeah, I never knew really what that textile thing is, but yeah, I think I have it now. So if I unfold, no, it's still the same. It is maybe a bit better, but okay. Anyways, let's just leave it as it is. So I think we can now, we have working UVs at least. It's a bit skew, but we don't care much. Use textile densities. Okay, well, I can press it, but I'm not sure exactly what to do here. I've seen it somewhere. There's this option to do that. There it is. So we want to have, what is it? 1496. Is that the way to do it? I don't think so. The thing is, the stream is lagging a bit, so I'm not even sure what this means. Oh, I see what it is. I set it to all the ones. Okay, I think I get it. I think I get it. Interesting. Okay. So now they're all the same textile density. Got it. Well, I was close enough though. Okay. I think this would be it. So what I want to do now, I want to have my low res geometry. And then like this, save it. And this would be my base model or my base mesh. And then I want to subdivide it. So this would be my low. And then I duplicate this, which will be my high model. And I want to subdivide this mesh, smooth it, and then we can just do 2 or 3 subdivs, which is this now, and then save it. And then I want to do cache, Alembic cache, export selection to Alembic, option box, current frame. A very, very important checkbox, which I always miss, is UV right needs to be on. Oh, actually, I think you didn't even see that window, did you? I don't think you guys did see it. No, it just doesn't show the menus. That's unfortunate. Well, cache, I'm clicking cache, Alembic cache, export selection, making sure it's on current frame, and then UV right export selection, and then I will just be picking the scene folder, and then I just do bottle high. Obviously you cannot see any of those steps right now because OBS, I only picked the Maya window, but it should not be an issue. Like, I guess it's fairly straightforward. And I'll just do the same thing now with the low. Select that, cache, Alembic export selection, and then we pick UV right and rename it to bottle low, like that, export selection. Yes, the stream will be saved. A question was, why didn't I pick Cat Clark? I thought that's the default. Is it not the default? It is the default. All good. All right, so I think we are good in Maya. I'm just using, I used to use Alembics all the time. I don't know. You can use anything you want. You can use OBJs if you need to. I don't know. All right, so let's switch to Dusankovic in the house. Let's switch to substance. And now comes a thing which I'm still learning, so you guys can probably help me, but we will see. So substance window, nothing is in here, so I'll just go file, new. We do a PBR metallic roughness workflow. We select the file, and you guys see nothing of this, which sucks. Okay, let's just do it a bit different. I will instead be showing my monitor. Let's see, hide the substance. Let's just bring my main view on the top. All right, so now I'm just sharing my whole screen, which is maybe I need to do this here. One second, sorry, this is now, I just need to reorder all these freaking streams here. Okay, I think we're good. So now I just have my desktop, so it's a bit better. You see all the pop-up menus, so whatever. I went to file, new, PBR metallic roughness workflow, select my file, and then I just need to go to the file I worked in, which is in work, training, live, and then somewhere here is it, glass, Maya, and then in scenes, I just import the low model. Yes, I want to create texture files. We want to work in 4K to get all the detail and hit OK. Okay, so now we have this. We can also, I think, at least my computer could handle it. I can just work in the high res directly. And maybe, let me just actually do that. Let's just start again, select the high and just work in the high 4K, import compute, blah, blah, blah. Okay, discard. Okay, so now we have the high mesh. This is my UV sets. And yes, I'm German. Well, I'm not German. I have German roots, but I did not grow up in Germany. And 4K is the standard, I think. You can work with 2K for sure. But yeah, I liked 4K, especially for this hero asset, which will be fairly big, which is like this. It's big in frame. We will render this maybe in 2 or 4K, so we need the resolution, I guess. Yeah, as I said, I'm not the master of substance, unfortunately, so this is just how I learned to work with this. So let's just first create all those mesh maps, baked mesh maps. In the common one, we want to use the low poly as a high poly mesh because the low poly is my high poly. And I think this is all we want. Output size, we just bake it in 4K as well. I hope the stream doesn't have issues with this. I don't have IDs, I don't want that. Occlusion, curvature, thickness. Okay, let's just bake all texture sets and see if this goes through. Oh, I didn't smooth the normals. I see. Okay, no problem though. I can work on the high one. It doesn't matter much. Baking now the maps. And yes, I used pretty much 2 UDIM tiles for this flask, but I don't want to have one 8K map. I want to have a 4K map which has UDIM, so I can push all the details I need to in this. So this is the reason why I do that. And it's a good workflow to just to keep using, I don't know, use UDIMs. Why not? There's no issue with that. All right, let's see what we get. Takes a bit of time, obviously, big maps. And then we need to see what we need to set up for. So ideally, we want to display a transparency in here. So we need to add a new channel. I think it's called opacity, or is it translucency? I'm not sure. Almost done, I think. And then we can at least display the translucency in Substance directly, and we could render an array here. And so the main things we want to do, actually I can bring up the render at least, or the reference in here as well. Just do it maybe on off screen quickly and go to the folder. So yeah. So essentially what we want to do, we want to create a bump map for the liquids, for the bumps, for the droplets. And then we just want to get some drops, just some breakup everywhere here and there. All right, so we have all my maps. We don't have IDs, which is all right. And yeah, so I thought we need to get a channel here. I think it's called opacity. And then let's just go here. And then we have all my maps. And let's see if we go down. And we have opacity here. If I bring this down, I'm not sure exactly. Oh, we need to have a different shader. I think that's also something we need to set up here, which supports the opacity. Maybe someone knows exactly what I need to do, but I think essentially it was setting this up. We don't want to have a metal. Okay, so let's just, oh, this is for painting, right? I think this is what it is. So, and the first thing what we want to do is let's just create a base material. We can just use any kind of material which we need. I like to work in some kind of preset shaders, which is always a helpful thing. And then we will just apply a grunge web. So essentially what you want to do is, I'm not even sure if this is assigned to this. So we can first of all instantiate it across all the sources. So we want it on, I think, just 1 and 2, but we can just do all. Okay. Maybe not on this. So what this is, it just instances this layer to all the other ones. So if I would now paint something here, it's also on the other UDIMs. It should also be there. At least the shader would be there as well. I'm just reading the chat quickly. PBR through alpha blending shader. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I just need to see it. I think it was somewhere up here. And the shader menu, oh yeah, it was here. Then there was someone in here, which is the alpha blending one. Yeah, okay. Then I think this should be it, I hope. Okay. All right, so these are all the maps. So let's see if I just apply a material, let's just see what we get here. Okay, so now this is a aluminum shader, and this is obviously not instantiated across everything. I just wanted to see if this works. So now essentially what we want to do is we just want to have we don't need a base color, but I can just have it black pretty much like that. And this should, I'm not sure why this is not assigning it. You see yeah, I'm pretty much working in look dev and lighting, and this is what I've been doing all the time pretty much. So I started as a generalist, and now it's just yeah, working as a look dev lighting artist professionally, and then obviously always learning new things and different packages like this here. So I don't know, let's just start there. I thought there was some kind of broken up materials already, but yeah, I'm just drawing a blank here. I just need to, I'm not sure, I don't want to draw, I just want to have this work. Why doesn't this main material why doesn't this apply? So I'm just trying to assign the shader, and I'm not sure why this is not applying this to this. Okay, let's see. That's a paint layer, that's maybe why. Okay, thank you. I just want not a paint layer then. Ah, yeah, fill layer, that's what it was. It's one of these guys. Okay, oh, I see. Okay, let's just do I'm not sure why this one here is a fill layer. Okay, and then I want to instantiate. Thank you very much. This was bugging me. Okay, so I want to copy it to all these sets here. Okay, and now for the base color, we want it to be black. That's what we want. And for the roughness, we want it to be very reflective. And then let's see if this works now. It does kind of work, but it's obviously because it's double-sided, it doesn't work properly. I am not at Cinecide. I am right now working at ILM in Vancouver, Canada, and my water is running out. So I just need to refill my water quick. And my, oh shit, sorry for that. And my water bottle was my stand for my webcam because I don't have a capture card yet for my DSLR. So I'm right now just working with this very rudimentary setup, and now everything is messed up here. All right, we're good. So now magically filled up. Okay, so now this is now a pretty basic setup here, what we need to do. So for the roughness, we want to definitely have some kind of breakup here, right? So we want to have some grunges. These are now texture-based things, but it's we can totally work with those. So in these, there's some, I think obviously we need to pick now, and there was something like drips or something. Let's just see if we can just search for drips. Leaks, we can try leaks actually, just not sure why this, there we go. So this is already doing something, and looking at the reference, you can see there's lots of smudginess going on. It's not super apparent, but it's not fully reflective. So we can just use this now as a like basic maps to just add some detail, right? It's obviously it's what you want to do with this, and I'm sure in LookDev in Maya, when we go back, I'll be working with this even more just to add more detail on the LookDev side. I should have a beer. Yeah, well it's 1 p.m. now, so it's almost beer time. And then in here you can add different things. You can add more. You can actually layer stuff here. So we can add I think it's a mask, and you can break up that mask as well. So we can add I think it was here, add a black mask, which is now in here, and then we could add another fill layer in here. How did we do that? Was it add fill layer? Add fill. There we go. So now this is my base map. So actually what we want to do, we want to get rid of it here, and we just want to have a this was now in base color, which is not right. Sorry for that. Remove mask. And we want to do this in the roughness here, and I'm not sure actually if this is same. Add a fill. So we want the roughness to be super reflective, like this. This is my original map, and then I want to add a fill, add a black mask. Maybe it doesn't need to do this. And in here I want to add a fill. And I just want the mask to be, what I'm trying to do is have the mask only be working on the roughness slots. But I think this is not the right way to do it. I'm not sure why my base color now gets messed up here. And you cannot use delete, which is also a shame. You cannot use the delete button to delete those layers, which is weird as well. Anyway, so let's just try this again here. Let's try more leaks. Let's use this map here, which we had before. You should use a beer. Yeah, okay. And then I under the impression that you can just add different layers, but I can just add a fill again and have this fill only be on the roughness, which is actually, I think, what I should have been doing. Yes, the stream will be uploaded. I think I always upload them anyways, so yes, it will be uploaded at a white mask. So now we have a mask. Okay, we're getting closer, and now we want to add a fill like that. And now if I add a grunge map in here, does that do it? Yeah, I think this does it. So in this fill layer, I don't want any roughness, so I just want the roughness from here. And I think this is now the way I want to work with. Let's see if this grunge does do it. And now let's see if I balance this. Yeah, so now I'm actually working, like I have only my roughness fill layer here. So let's just call this roughness map. And this is only assigned to the roughness slot there. So the benefit of this is I can work independently. I don't have like an Uber shader which affects all the layers. And then in the masks here, I can just add different kind of breakups here. So I can just do, I don't know, all of these things, just blend them in super slightly and just see how they go. Can I actually just drop it in here? No, I just need to add another fill, I guess. Right click, add fill. It's also a bit weird. You can also use generators and stuff, which is interesting. Add another fill layer, and we can multiply this or add it to the other one. So if I use a multiply, these two maps at the bottom will be multiplied together. So if it's white, it's the bottom one. And then we can just, I don't know, pick anything here, and then just break it up. You can apply levels to them separately. And I just want to dirty it up. It doesn't need to be like really perfect. I just want to add some kind of, as if there's some smear or something on it. So it's nothing too crazy. And I think the roughness map is the most important one you need to work with. Yeah, I tried the metal. It does do it, but it's because it's double-sided, it doesn't work. Right, I think it needs to be single-sided for the shader to work, for the opacity. So this is not a biggie. All right, so now we're working on this texture set, and I think if we move to the other texture set like this, this is now the inside. I'm not sure, I think I was able to just show the inside as well. I think I need to do this, there we go. All right, and in here, what I want to do is add these droplets or whatever. So I think there should be something in here, which had some kind of like rain or something. There was like a map. I was sure I used that before. Let's just check here. Some kind of streaks we want to do. Like, what is this, for instance? We can use this maybe. Or some more splashes, and then for the inside we just want to create another we just do another fill layer like this, and this would be just a normal one. I hope I'm doing this right. And we just want it to be applicable to the normals, and then I'm actually not sure if you can just pick a map now. Ooh, how did I do that? You can convert them somehow, right? You can have a texture, convert that to a normal. Maybe someone knows that and can help me out with this quickly. In the meantime, I'm just working on the roughness here. So this needs to be, where's actually my mask now gone? Is it just on the texture side here? Okay. Oh, because it's not instantiated. So yeah, I think I want that to be instantiated as well. So let's just move this to the other ones as well. So it should be on 102 as well. So now we have it on both texture sets. And we still have the fill layer, which is just a base color. That is perfect. And now let's see if we can actually get this bump map to work. I'm not sure how I did it and why it's not in the height slot. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense. And then we just do leak here and try if we can get this. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that was it. And then we just convert the height to normal at some point. Okay, so this is now the bump map, and I think this is perfect for the inside. So I will just remove this from the main shader, and I'll just go into the height. We don't actually need to do that, I think, but in this, I will go to my texture set and select my texture set from the inside. Oh, this is at the other one. We need to do this on this too, I think. And for this, I want to create not the normal. We can remove this. Where's the lead? Oh, this works. So 2 instances, and then I want to create a new fill layer here, which is my height. And this will be only on the height. And then I will pick these leaks again. I hope it was these. No, which one did I pick? I think these ones, yeah. So, and this is now these droplets, right? So this should be, or some kind of dirt or whatever it should be. And we just want to reduce the intensity for this. So we can just use the levels or whatever. I think add levels to this. And this should be height. And then we just want to reduce it. So it should just be like, I don't know, something really subtle. It shouldn't be really crazy. It should just be some kind of leak texture. Let's just hit F here. So you can see there's something inside. And this is pretty much all I had to do. And we can do maybe some procedural noises as well for the inside. But essentially this is all we need. What is this? I'm just reading the comments quick. Okay, no, it's all good. All right, so let's just go to the texture set lists. And essentially this is what we need. And then on the look dev side, I will just be creating a bit more breakup. Like I will be using a broad noise to add some surface breakups and whatnot. So at least this is the very basic side of the substance thing. And I think this one has, we need to also instantiate this other thing here. Fill layer, okay. This is good, this is good. Outside clean, inside not so clean. At the bottom, I'm not sure, we need to instantiate the roughness to this as well. From 1, we need to instantiate this to this one as well. So now the bottom has some kind of breakup as well. And we can use these maps to create some kind of detail as well. Like if we need more, we can just use that. So I never saved it, which is crazy. So let's just save it fairly quick. Let's see, why didn't it work? There you go. And then we just go here. Sorry, it's a bit of a mess here. All right, save it there. All right, saved. And then we just, I think it's in the file menu, we just export this. Still saving. And yeah, also, before I forget, we are on Discord. If you want to join us, it would be amazing if you want to join the Discord server. We are starting to grow above 1,000 members already. So yeah, it's amazing. So there's a link if you want to join. Export textures. And we want all of those. We just need to see what my setups are. So how did I do that? We just actually want, the one map. Height. We want height and normal map. So where did I do that? And we went first to change the output path, and I just picked the same output path fairly quick. Let's see. Sorry, this is a bit of admin stuff. It's a bit tedious to always click through those menus and find the location where you want to save it. But we are close. All right, so that's updated. We want to export it as EXR files. And I think in here, I'm not sure why I cannot pick the ones I want. Which one is it picking here? PBR metal from cache. I'm not even sure what from cache means. Custom. All right, so I forgot how I do that now. So we want to have the roughness. From roughness. Oh, sorry now. This is always like I do this and then I keep forgetting how to do that. So I'm not sure if I do PBR metal rough. Arnold 5 viewed on the AI stand. We can actually do that. So it does metalness, roughness, normal maps, but then I want to configure that. And I don't want emissive. I don't want normal. I don't want roughness. I don't want metalness. I don't want base color. Okay. I think that's it. I hope. I'm not sure why it doesn't pick it. What if I duplicate this and say Arnold 5 custom? Maybe this does it. I don't know. We'll see. And then we pick it here. Yeah, that did it. Okay, same export, and let's just do export. Export successfully. Okay, so now we can go back to Maya. We want to save it and we want to move it here. Okay. All right, so that is the model, if you remember, and we want to clear this and we want to do perspective here. So we're finally back in Maya, by the way. Took us some time. The substance, I need to be more confident or feel more comfortable in substance to actually do a tutorial. You can see now how I'm struggling, so I need to learn a lot more to get better at this. Yeah. All right, so what the first thing we do is we open up file browser, go to our directory where we just exported those maps, and we go to glass bottle, and then we have them here. Height, roughness, that's what we need. And then what I want to do, I want to do this, select those two maps, drag them in here. They are placed in the viewport, in the node editor. I want this, I want to sort them like that. I would delete the place 2D, control middle mouse drag the place 2D node on that white dot to have one place 2D node in the roughness attributes, which do not open. Why not? Kidding me? Why is this not showing what I need? Attributes. Why is this not doing it automatically? Kidding me. Order load selected. This is what it's supposed to do. What the hell? Any ideas? Why is this not selecting my objects? I don't want to do this all the time. Oh, we have 160 viewers right now, which is super impressive for me. So thank you all guys for joining, and welcome if you just joined the stream. We are now already on the last part of this where I now bring back the textures generated in Substance, and we now will connect them, do some look dev work, do some lighting work, and then go from there. But as you can see, my Maya does not show me the attributes of that object unless I do select or load the attributes of this, which is not what I want to do. It must be some weird bug. Or I'm not seeing, maybe there's some disabled box. I don't know. Yeah, I just started a new Maya version. But it's not the hypershader, it's also here or here. It's not selecting it. All right, come on, load it up. Okay, let's just do it. Okay, this does it. So let's just recent projects, this guy, open, live session, open, don't save. Okay, let's see. Ha! Okay, I'm just closing this. Yeah, I don't know, Maya is always a pain in the butt. So I'm slowly learning Houdini, which is great, which is super flexible, super powerful tool. Yeah. All right, so, hey, we can do this now. Amazing. So what I wanted to do in here, UV tiling should be UDIM based, and it found 3 tiles, perfect. The same for this guy is UDIM based. And we just want to make sure that these maps are not in ACES CG, because they are not. They are in utility raw. At least this is what I hope they are. And we just need to find it. This one and the same for this. And you need to set the color spaces before you do the TX conversions. So I'm just saving, and let's just create a standard surface shader. And we do the connections, color, and let's just do a range, because I know I will adjust it. And we do an AI range here. I'm feeling way more comfortable in Arnold, which is great. And then we do a AI bump, and we do this with the red channel. Nope. Bump. Nope. Bump. Map. And we connect this to the normal, and we connect the color, sorry, the range red to the specular. Actually, we will do it first, and then I explain why I will not do that. Always disappearing. I'm just reading the comments quick. Okay, so we don't have a camera yet. We don't need a camera as well. What we need is lights. So I will load in a light, Skydome lights. Go to color, click on that, do a file, select, load my preset here, which is just a light, like a studio, which is mostly my looked up environment. It's like a very neutral HDRI. And what I want to do then is go to Arnold menu, utilities, TX manager. It will find my UDIM tiles here. It will show that it is in utility raw space, and I just want to do create TX files. It will do the TX conversion to all the UDIMs, and you can see here it's actually creating them. Almost done. Oh, the knife to cut connections. Yeah, it's actually not documented, I think. But yeah, as you see, Alt-Shift. Alt-Shift, click and drag, you get this nice little cut line. All right, we don't want to see this. We just want to make sure that we have 2 samples at least. And we have 2048. And then we just clear them. Oh, hate it. Hate it. Oh, I didn't assign it. So now we need to go back here. Where is that shader? Here? There it is. And now let's just assign this. Obviously we can work in a low poly mesh, but it's, as I said, it's fine to do this. Normally you would assign, like you would work in the low version and just do subdivisions at render times, but we don't have a crazy displacement, so I'm just working with the high one. All right, so maps are connected, hitting save. So let's just check settings quick. Let's do 35 is good. Render settings 211, super simple, nothing crazy, no depth, I think. 11111. All right, so let's see. Do we need a camera? Let's just create a camera quickly. Let's do a create camera from view. I always forget this shortcut. Looking through that, let's rename it to render, or let's call it main. And we want to do a focal length of 75. And we want to change my render settings to a higher version. So we want height maybe 1200. We want to view this. Is that not doing it? No. Yeah, lots of update issues. All right, so we want maybe the lights. This is front on, maybe something like this. All right, so this would be my placement. I'm just locking the camera and go back to render view. And this is my perspective. We don't want this on the perspective. We can do the shader thing. I think this is the material now. Still not assigned. I keep forgetting to assign the shader. Now it's assigned. Is it? Alt-Shift-D, clear history. Shader is here. Does this work? It does work. Hey. And what I like to do not show my selection highlighting. So even though it's selected, it's not showing it. All right, so we have, I think, everything we need at least for right now to hit the render button. And I think all of you guys have been waiting for that. 170 viewers. I'm super excited. It's a lot of guys watching me. And I think, honestly, I couldn't imagine myself sitting like at a seminar and presenting for 170 people. It's crazy. So super stoked about this feedback, guys. Thank you very much. Let's go to main camera. This is what we are working with. You can see the roughness map is already doing something here. We have super low settings right now. We don't want render tiles. And what I like about this is using, actually we can keep this on, and I like to use the progressive render, which is gradually making your image nicer. And then we can boost my camera AA to 4, and now you can see it is cleaning up slowly. And this is right now on the CPU just because the OBS stream is running on the NVIDIA card using NVLink, like a new compression thing or whatever, and I don't want to break the stream, so it's running on the CPU. All right, so glass, obviously what we want to do, we don't want to have any base color, and let's just actually disconnect these guys for now. This is what it is. Oh yeah, actually I forgot about that. I have a super chat. Thank you. So if you want to support me there, you can actually, I'm not sure, you can do some special emojis and do something crazy on the super chat. And also thanks for reminding me as well, if you, below the stream is the join button, and you can actually become a member of my YouTube team, and you get special access on Discord as well, and you have the option to get source files. Like I will upload this whole thing here for you guys. You get the model, you get whatever textures I did right now, and by joining that tier you will actually you will get all the resources. You get the whole Maya scene file, you get the substance scene file, and you will also get all my previous tutorials as well. So enough of the plugging here. Come on. Transmission, let's bring up the weight to 1. And boom, we got glass. Tutorial is done. No, I'm kidding. So glass is actually not that simple. It has its things. Like, what I mean by that is typically people just do this and say, oh, I got a glass shader. But glass, like especially looking at this glass here, which is an IKEA glass made in Russia, you can see the colorization here at the top. It's a lot lighter, and towards the bottom it's a lot thicker and more saturated and dark. And the reason is the glass has a thickness, and because of that it gets more colorful, I say. And the top you can see is almost clear because of the thickness of the glass. And you can see how dirty it is because I'm touching it all the time. Anyway, so for just a quick thing, let's say we want to create this kind of shader, right? So instead of just changing the color, which we need to change, we need to also change the depth. So if I just change the color, let's go to this bluish HSV. Let's just do, maybe it's a bit greener, maybe more blue than it, maybe it was actually pretty close. Do this, right? So no, wait, let's just go back to blue. Yeah. All right, so let's say this is our base color. So without any depth here, right, this is, you can see it's a uniform color everywhere. The problem is it's not. So what we want to do is bring in this depth here, and you can see now by doing that the main glass here is almost clear, but then at the top we get this thickness, and you can do that by just adjusting this depth value here. And based on how you modeled that, if you modeled it very thick in some parts and very thin in some other parts, you get this colorization, right? And that's what we want. So I want to have some kind of depth here. So let's just do 0.1. And if I load back the reference, this glass here is actually not so colored. There's some kind of, I would say, green, very desaturated green, like navy green maybe to it. And let's just actually move this. Oh, can I zoom in here? How did I do that? There we go. Normally I use pure ref for my references, but yeah, we have this now. I'm just reading pro Patreon, learn a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the cut is Alt Shift, click and drag. All right, so let's just do this kind of green, what I was talking about. So if I go to this green color, it's more yellow greenish, and it's super desaturated like that. And then it's actually not that saturated. I'm just changing. We can actually, you can have a color here if you want, and then you can play with the depth and use this as a color slider as well. So you have lots of options to just dial it in. And I'm just looking now at the thick part here, because looking at the reference as well, the top here is a bit darker than the bottom piece. So I'm just using this now to dial it in, just to get something in this ballpark. And then what I want to do next is, you can see there's this, it feels almost like there's this black outline around this. And what I think I want to do is just use a facing ratio to just adjust it a bit. It's a bit hacky. It's not the way I think it's physically correct. But I want to do this anyways, because I think it's cool. So what I want to do then for this is use a, what's it called? Surface. It's not curvature. It's facing ratio. And I just want to, for now, just connect it to the surface shader. And this is the facing ratio shader. And you can see it's actually creating what I want it to be. And you can see now it's similar here on the edges. It's very dark. And this is just something I want to do for this as a little hack. And you can see now if I rotate, so you can't because it's the wrong camera. Well, anyways, I don't want to rotate it, but this is now an effect which I like. And what I want to do now is I want to do a AI range in between, like this. Come on. Never likes it. Oh, because it's a float, sorry. And then we just want to connect this to this. And now we have the same, and now I can actually do some grading. So I just want it to be on the edges. So this should be fully white, and then we have this darker fall off towards the edges. And what I want to do with this, now comes the hacky part. I just want to multiply it with my transmission here. And for that to do, I can just pick the red channel, any luminance value, and pick that, plug that into transmission like that. And then if I bring back my shader, this is what it looks like. And even though, as I said, it's not 100, like it's not physically accurate, but it's a lot closer already. Oh, that's what I think. So obviously it's too strong. We just need to adjust it. Adjust it by doing this. No, doing the opposite. Sorry, what does this look like? If I bring this up, yeah, it was correct. So if I bring this to 1, then it's fully white, I guess. Yeah, so this is now fully glass everywhere. And I just want to very subtly bring in this fade here. All right, so this already, I think, looks a bit better. You can see at the bottom, it's super saturated. It's too much. Can you do bigger the Maya window? I sure can. I sure can do that. Do we need the text? I don't think we care. All right, this is all I can do for you. Yeah, okay. Okay, so hourglass looking like this. So next thing I would say is let's just bring in this roughness map, which we have here. And the thing is, before we actually do that, if you change the roughness now here, it will also change the refraction, because this is how it's physically happening. If you have a sandblasted or like a glossy glass, it's the surface and it's also affecting the roughness, like the refraction roughness. But because we are in CG, we have some flexibility. So what I want to do instead, I don't want to use the roughness at all. I don't want the specular at all. I just want the pure refraction. So this is only the ray being bent, that's all. So the trick now is to use the coat instead. If I bring in the coat, it's essentially replicating the same image, but now if I change the roughness, it's only affecting the surface, the specular amount, and it's not changing the crispness of my refraction. So keep that in mind. And I will be using this, and I use this quite often because it's it gives me a nice freedom to work with. So let's just hook up the roughness to the code roughness instead. All right, so this, if I visualize this, this is now currently the map. And as you can see, it looks like a wipe from a towel or whatever, but this is exactly what we want. And I just need to to balance it out now, right? So smooth step on, it's always like a clamping, like a softer clamping curve. And right now the white pieces here will be rougher than the black ones. So what I like to do to dial it in, I always actually disable transmission completely. so it's a lot easier to just see what needs to be done. And now let's just see what we get. So if I reduce the min, this should get more smudged up. And I'm just dialing those values so we get some overall roughness. Maybe it's not 100% reflective everywhere, so it's very dirty pretty much. And if we change to my perspective camera here, you can see the effect, and I think it's this is pretty much what we want, right? Some kind of breakup, not too crazy, and something really subtle like this. Even this, the white might be too strong already. The white might be too strong, so I just reduce the whites. Oh, actually I can do this. Bring this back to 1. So there's a question, do you know what clamp means? And yeah, I do know what it means. It's pretty much just cutting off a value. There's actually a dedicated clamp node for this. And what it means, if I plug this in right now, let's say I have a base color of some kind of white value. So I have like this, let's say a value of 0.7. And if I have a clamp at 1, it means the value will not go over 1, but it can be in the range from 0 to 1, but it cannot be anything else. That's what a clamp does. So if I reduce the clamp now to, what did I pick here? 0.7. If I go below 0.7, my colors will be clamped at 0.7. So right now this is exactly the same as on 1 or on 0.7. But if I change it to 0.6 now, or 0.4 to make it more apparent, the value here at the bottom is now at 0.4, and this is the maximum it can reach. Even if my input color is like 2000, it's clamping it at 0.4 right now. And essentially that's what a clamp is. Disconnect and connect the shader. All right, so we have this and we have the height. So let's see what the bump map looks like if I plug this into my normal camera. It should only be on the inside, I think. I hope I did it right. Yeah, so there's only here some bump. And let's see if it does work. Oh yeah. Shift Alt. Yeah, I keep saying that. I think the 6th or 5th time the question was asked today. But yeah. It's hard to see. I think we need to bring back the refraction to actually see anything. So let's just bring this back. And let's render from the main camera and see if we can actually see anything. I was hoping we could see those drips here. Maybe I was too hopeful. Oh no, we can see something. You can see it's something. It's nothing insanely crazy, but this is now the drips I created on the inside. It's not on the outside, only on the inside UV set. And you can see it kind of looks like there's some residue liquid in it. And that's the idea. And obviously it's too much. 0.05. And what I want to do next with that mask, I can do I can color correct it, right? Because in here, if I zoom in here to the liquid, you can see there is some kind of residue, whatever, right? There's some kind of discolorization, and I just want to replicate that. And what I want to do as well, using the transmission, because right now it's fully transmissive, I want to color correct that. So there's a very good question if I don't need to tick on this opaque switch, which is found in the Arnold menu. This opaque thing here. And even though it's turned on, Arnold knows automatically if you have a transmissive shader, it will actually disable that. But to be safe, we can just do that as well. So now it's off, like really forced off. All right, so what I said, I want to do an AI range like this. We have 189 viewers, which is freaking amazing. I'm super happy. Maybe we can hit 200. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? And now let's do the colorization. So I'm just picking this input map, and I will be connecting this. You can do eyesight select. I tend to do this nowadays just to hook it to the surface shader, which is just pretty much connecting it to the output. And if I go back to the Ren perspective, you can see this is now my map from the inside. And what I want to do, I want to reduce the input max to very low values. So it's pretty much just picking the dots which I want to color correct, right? Something like this. Hello, Sweden. It must be very late already, right? Like 10 or something. Anyway, so this is my mask, and I want to use this. Like, where's my transmission? This is my transmission, right? Which is my refraction amount. And I want to use this like an AI color correct. And with this node, let's just hook them up first. This color correct node is amazing because it has this little mask input, and what that helps me to do is actually color correct objects only driven by that mask. So if I change my my multiply down, you can see now this is affecting everything. But if I hook up my little mask here and I do the same, nothing happens because the mask is actually black on the outside. But if I look on the inside and I play with this multiply, you can see that now we have some droplets appearing, and this is what I want to do, right? So if I go back to my camera and I connect the shader again, we should see something. Obviously, if it's not strong enough, we first need to connect it, by the way. Let's see what this helps. Transmission, there we go. So now we have these droplets being a lot darker than the rest. And again, this might be too strong, which I think it is, but you get the idea, right? So I can just bring this up so it's not as much. And then also the bump is too strong. We can dial that down to maybe 0.02, 0.01, just that we get some kind of little details. Maybe 0.02. And yeah, right, let me see. Can I explain a range? I know exactly the max working. Bump. Sorry for that. The range is like a levels map in different packages, or like a grade node in Nuke, for instance. What the range is doing is you give it an input and you define what is an input, like what is the input values, right? So you can say that if, let's just create a range. Let's see if I can explain it nicely. So the input min defines what is the minimum value which the renderer accepts as a 0 value. So if I increase this, what I'm telling the renderer that the value of my input, if that is 0.2, it should treat it as it's 0. And the same for the input max. If my input max is on 1 and I have values in the image which are 1, this is the output. But if I define the input max is 0.8, for instance, I'm saying that whatever value in the input image is 0.8 should be treated as 1. That's these two things. Then we have output in, output min, and output max, which is essentially just adding more or subtracting the value from the output image. So I can say, actually, let's try to visualize that. I'm just trying to visualize that, and then we can actually jump back into the tutorial or into this image, because we still need to do the liquid, right? We didn't do that yet. All right, quickly going a bit off topic, but it should help. All right, this is my input map. And I want to say what I said before. I want to say that a value, let's pick this gray here, which is a value of 0.175. I want this to be treated as 0. So if I put 0.175 in here, this value are treated as black. So everything gets a lot darker. But if I want to have this value, which is 0.15 now, If I want that to be white, like a fully 1.0 value, I can dial it down to, I think, 1.5. Oh, sorry, because it's already corrected. Then we do that, right? So if I have this on 0 and this back to 1, and I want to have this value here, 0.299 as a 1 value, I type in here 0.299, and then this value we had is now fully at 1. And this is pretty much what the range is doing. Smooth step on will clamp value, so it will not go above that. You can see this is what's happening. It just clamps it at 1. And this is how you would isolate certain values, right? And let's say I'm just using this, but now I want to use this output min. So I want to say that even this is 0.001, I want my minimum output to be 0.1, and everything gets lifted then. So my minimum value is 0.1. So I think this is explaining it, I hope. All right. And let's just connect this back up. And right now, this is what we have for our glass. And we've got the inside bumps. Let's get rid of this. And now let's just stop the render and bring in the liquid and hit render. I think the liquid is actually not subdivided yet. It's not, which is okay. We can hit render. We should have the liquid now here. And if I now do a Arnold subdivision, cat Clark, do 3 iterations on this, we can now see it. So we can get the liquid in here, right? So, and this is the important thing, because it needs to be a bit larger, you get the correct refraction. If it would be smaller, let's just do a modify center pivot. If I would scale it down, you can see if it's fitting the mesh, you can see this would be the wrong refraction because it's exactly the same shape or a bit smaller. It needs to be a bit bigger so we get the proper refractions going on. I have not done skin shading with ACES yet, but yeah, even now we are working in ACES, so the workflow is pretty much the same, I think. I'm using only Arnold nodes, so you get the same nodes in any supported Arnold software as well. So you can use AI facing ratio in Houdini, whatever you want to do. So liquid, I will isolate that quick to assign a new shader. And we have it assigned. And now if I change the colors, you can see we got the liquid. So this liquid here is very brownish, dirty. It has some noise on it, so we want to do that as well. Let's bring the transmission up, get glass, and then we want to pick a color, something more. This looks great. That's a great color, pretty close. And then we want to play around with the depth as well. Not too much, 0.25 maybe. Oh, that's too little. That's 0.8. Maybe 1 is good. And then we also want to work with the scatter. So scatter is kind of like micro particles inside the liquid. It's like as if it's cloudy or dirty or whatever. And this is what we want to do here. I think overall my color is just too much. So we can reduce the depth. 0.2. We can also colorize the scatter if we need to be more yellow. And this is just like now tweaking the values until we have something which we like. We have roughness, just bring the roughness down so it's a bit more reflective. And then there's this ramp. So what I want to do is create an AI ramp, RGBA. And if I hook this up, actually we don't have, I'm not even sure if we have UVs for this. It doesn't matter much, but we could just apply quick UVs. If we don't have the UVs, I can just quickly apply them. Let's just see what we get. This is the ramp right now. U ramp, nope. V ramp, Yes, we just need to, we can actually do it maybe. Yeah, let's just stop the render quickly and just do a quick cylindrical UVs. I think that should do it. Let's see. Yep, that did it. Amazing. Oh, my voice is leaving me. I'm talking too much. Tutorial is way too long already. Okay, what I want to do with this is have it fade from the top to the bottom, right? As if there's some kind of residue displacing, whatever. And this is essentially the look I want to go for. Maybe a smooth curve. So 184 viewers. I think we need to share this video a bit more to get more views in here. Yeah, so we can use this ramp now as a mask. I always like to use that, but then we need to invert this, right? So whatever is white needs to be black, and whatever is black needs to be white. There we go. And then I just want to use another color correct. I love color corrects, super versatile. And I want to plug this into the mask, and this would be my color for the transmission. Boom. And then let's hook it up. All right. Obviously not working anymore. Oh, my input color needs to be this brown we picked. This one. Yeah. And then now we can just do the multiply and darken it. Now you can see we get this transition. Obviously we can adjust the ramp to make it softer. I'm not sure why smooth didn't work. Is this not fully white? No, it is. Let's just move this up a bit. Okay, and then this is now at least the color we have, and if it might be a bit too brown, too scattery. Let's just do this. That's better, I think. It feels like a liquid now. It's maybe a bit too bright, too not dark enough. So what's happening in the chat? No one's typing anymore. It was a lot more action before. So let me know what you think. Would you do the same workflow as I did now? Would you do it a bit differently? What would you do to getting this transition? Yeah, so I think maybe the inside is a bit too smudged up. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. So before on the modeling stage, I was saying that we would need to get some surface breakup. Right now, you can see that the glass, or at least my reflection here, is very straight and there's no breakup to this. So I'm doing now is AI bump again. Same for, okay guys, so you guys actually listening. So 190 viewers, we are almost at the 200 mark. Let's try if we can actually hit that. I have a Intel Xeon something, I'm not sure exactly, processor. So I want to do an AI noise. And what I want to do, I want to stack bump nodes. So this out value goes, if I right click and do show all attributes, I want this out value to plug into normal, and then my out value goes into the normal camera right there. And then I want to connect the noise to the bump map. If you would have used a Y position, it would be, I think, on world scale. Yeah, I would do it. I think it would work too. So this map should just modulate an overall breakup. So it should be super subtle and very soft. I think actually the default for this scene or for the scale works fairly well. And you can already see now there's something going on already. If I push this a bit higher, you should be seeing this a bit more apparently. Okay, this is definitely too much, but you can see what I'm trying to get at, right? It's now, it might be just too large. Sorry, not large enough. So right now, scale 1, let's do 0.5. Like that. So now it's a lot larger. And you can see now how nicely it distorts. I think actually let's go 0.8. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. Obviously way too much, but the idea is to distort the refraction. So I can just reduce the bump height now. Even this is still too strong, 0.025, I mean. And I think this is a good way. And then I think my roughness is a bit too strong. Let's see how that looks. And then we can, yeah, let's see what this brings. And then obviously in different environments, this will look different. The edges of the liquid maybe need some adjustment. The edges of the liquid, maybe you mean this? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. And then let's just try a different environment, because it always helps to see it in different ones. Let's just save this one and go to my light. So feel free to ask any more questions if you have, because we are almost done. So any last minute questions, or I can do another Discord pin. So let's do that as well. So if you joined now, I have a very successful Discord channel and we want to grow it even further. So it would be amazing if you could join, share it with the community. We have challenges. Actually, what I'm doing right now is for one of those challenges. So yeah, why don't you check it out, be active in the community. And I'm actually working already to get some sponsorships. So for the next challenges that we get actually some prizes. So yeah, I'm just picking the HDI off screen quickly. Which one did I pick? This one. All right, so connect. Ooh, so this is now actually a different environment, and you can see now that my bump map is actually a bit too strong looking at this in a different environment. So the liquid works very well in my opinion, but the bump is too much. So let's just reduce this to even less, 0.025, maybe 0.01, clean it up a bit. And also the interior bump I think is still too strong. That's better. And then we can bring up the roughness because I reduced this quite a bit. And we can overall maybe roughen it up. Right, so let's just render this without progressive. Let's see, progressive off. So I'm reading the chat now. Let's just move this window here. Did you bake the shader out? So I think in a production, I would actually bake out all my procedural things into the textures because it's a lot faster to render if it's fully texture based. But for the simple acid here, I wouldn't do this. Render settings for liquids. Yeah, render settings are always a bit tricky. I always recommend that you do not use refraction roughness. So what I mean by that is in the shader, you should try to have the refraction roughness to 0, because if it's not 0, then you would need to bump this transmission samples up, and this is always super expensive. So that's one thing. And then you should try to have as little as possible in the transmission depth. I think 6 is the minimum you should use. And the rest is depending on your scene. If you have motion blur, if you have depth of field, bump up AA samples. If you have like an interior of scene, you need to bump those up as well. So that is a bit tricky for sure. Glass is always expensive, but yeah, the tips I just mentioned should be helpful. Do you bake the shader? If you would put a light on the inside is the question. We can try it by creating a light, not a mesh light. Let's go to lights, and we want to have an area light, and the area light can be I thought they had a sphere here as well. Quad cylinder. Well, let's just use a cylinder then. Let's save this image and do a progressive. So now we have a light source on the inside. If I hide my main light, this is now the light inside it. So you can see how the scatter is actually affecting it. It works actually pretty well. I can just maybe reduce the exposure of the main light. So this would be a light source inside. That was a question just now in the chat. In my professional work, do I use only Arnold? I actually professionally just work with RenderMan, Katana RenderMan most of the time, sometimes Katana RenderMan and Maya, but typically it's just RenderMan. That's why my tutorials are all about Arnold, because I need to do something different, right? I hope you understand that. Yeah, I'm working on more challenges. I'm hoping the community will grow even further so we can push it even more. That would be great. Controlling the IOR through a procedural. Typically, I would say only if you blend different shaders, like if you have a dust shader on top or rust or whatever, then it makes sense to change IORs. But changing, because the IOR does not change, because the property of the object doesn't change, it's just the thickness which changes the look of it. So I wouldn't do that. Yes, the stream will be going on to, just one second. Sorry, I had a little emergency. Okay, so what was the question? Yes, the stream will go onto my channel right after this upload. It's a super long stream, 2 hours already. We have 184 viewers, 103 likes. Amazing. If you like it, please leave me a thumbs up. Just reading through the last comments. I do use adaptive sampling for production renders. So typically, if I do that, I enable it here. And let's just actually go back to where we were. This goes back to 0. So adaptive settings is pretty much, this is a pretty good default. And what it means is it will pick minimum of 4 and a maximum of 20, and then based on the noise levels, the threshold controls how many samples the image will get. Let's show the buckets. Yeah. Can you explain what a broadcast news style is? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't really want to do RenderMan Katana tutorials just because I work with that all day, and it's just I need to do something else. I hope you understand that. Pew pew. I do shot lighting. Yeah, that's my main thing. I do shot lighting pretty much every day, and then sometimes look dev. Lots of RenderMan guys here on my stream. I like that. So yeah, I might do RenderMan, but maybe a Houdini RenderMan because they have the Solaris connection, which is amazing. I played with that. I didn't do any tutorials yet on that. That's a good question. What is the most important aspects in Arnold that you feel should be in RenderMan? I think the simplicity is one of the main things, which RenderMan is not. Arnold has pretty much, if you really boil it down, it has one setting, one slider to control the look, which is the AA samples, and you just obviously set up the few spec once, and then you just slide them, and you're good. RenderMan has tons, and I'm not kidding, it has tons of parameters, object-based parameters, render-based parameters. You can do really, really crazy things with that. And I think some options are still there because of legacy reasons and whatnot, but essentially I would say this is something RenderMan could look at, simplifying it. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Like I checked all the messages, and yeah, concurrent views are going down, people are going off. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of live stream. It was a very long one. We did it, like modeled this and everything from the beginning. We went to Substance Painter, like really did some basic maps there because I still need to get a bit better on that, or more comfortable, I'd say. And then we went back to Arnold, Maya, and we did some shading, some look dev overrides, texture overrides, some procedural. So yeah, let me know if this is something you want to see more, and please don't forget to like my video, as this helps me get a bit better reputation on YouTube, so my videos are found easier by you guys. So yeah, I'm happy that so many joined. It was definitely a record. Like I never had so many people listening to me, which is insane. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining, and enjoy your Easter weekend, and obviously stay safe out there. It's crazy times. I will not do the cork, no. Cool. Cool. Thanks for all the feedback. I'm just reading through the comments popping in. It's amazing. Thank you guys. Yeah, it really means a lot, and I will just keep doing that as you guys seem to like what I do. Yeah, thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.